Akumajō? Akumajō special? Boku Dracula-kun. Dracula-kun. Yeah. We'll go with that. Basically, this is Kid Dracula. I think it's like Demon Castle. Well, what the fuck does Boku mean? Huh? Boku basically means boy. In Japan. In Japanese. Yeah, I knew that. So anyways, yeah, this is basically Kid Dracula, if you know that game from the Game Boy. That's the only way it's released in English, other than on the Castlevania collection, Castlevania Anniversary Collection. But yeah, originally this was released in 1990 in Japan only for the Famicom. So this is basically the Famicom is the Japanese NES, as I am sure most of you are aware. So this is basically Kid Dracula for the NES. Yeah, released in 1990. I've recently played and beaten the Game Boy version of this game. And so I wanted to go back and check out the original, check out the NES version. And actually I was quite surprised how much is different. I mean, maybe I shouldn't be. There's 3 years between the games. And, but yeah, some things were almost changed for no reason. The levels, the order of the levels is switched around. A few of the levels are different. The second level in the the second level in the NES version here is like an underwater level, which there is no underwater level in the Game Boy version. And some of the other levels are similar but different. Like the theme might be the same, but the layout is completely different, and the order that the levels are in is almost completely different. I was also surprised. At first, I thought the NES version would be easier because they throw extra hearts at you right away. Like, I think in the first level, you get an extra heart. And the hearts fill up your total hit points. I'm not talking about the small hearts that heal you, the large heart containers that give you more hit points. In the Game Boy version, I don't think you get one of those in the first level. You might not get one of those until the second or third level. In the NES version, by the second level, I think you've gotten 2 of them. So right away, they're throwing the extra heart containers at you, which is a little strange. I thought, oh, this is going to be really easy, but it's not. It's probably equal difficulty. Maybe the levels are harder, but they give you more health. You also don't get the power-ups as quickly. In the Game Boy version, you start with the ability to turn into a bat, and in the NES version, you don't get that ability until like level 4. So yeah, the order that you get your power-ups is completely different, and you don't start with the bat one like you do in the Game Boy version. At least I think in the Game Boy version, you started with the bat power-up, or at least you got it at the end of level 1. In the Game Boy version, most of the boss fights have like a second...
Hold up. What is that? What is that on this dude's forehead? Yeah, this boss was a weird looking one in the Game Boy version, but I didn't expect that.
Look, I get it. The swastika has different meanings. It's a symbol that's been around before the Nazis used it, so it is a religious symbol. In Japan, maybe that's a little more accepting. It's still strange. I mean, obviously, in modern history, we look at that symbol differently. But I guess that was acceptable in Japan. That certainly got censored out in the Game Boy version, though, didn't it? So these are the bonus games. I think they're the same for, at least the few of them I've seen so far, 2 of the 4 were the same. Bonus games that are in the Game Boy version, but the way that you pick the The way that you get to pick the bonus game that you're going to do is completely different. In the Game Boy version, it's like the ball under the cup, and you slide the cups around, and then you gotta guess which cup has the ball under it. Whereas in this, it's more like I don't even know how to explain it, this multi-path thing. But yeah, either way, you're getting to A, B, C, or D at the bottom, and that's going to give you the corresponding bonus level for that letter. So, yep. Anyways, where were we before we got distracted? The enemies, yeah, the bosses having multiple forms, that's where we were. So the boss fights are a little longer in the Game Boy version, although they may require more hits in the NES version to even beat the first phase. So that doesn't necessarily mean anything. That could easily be balanced out. Yeah, the main thing is just the order that you get your... well, you get more heart containers much quicker. The order that the levels are in are completely different. There are some levels that aren't in the Game Boy version at all, and the order that you get your power-ups is completely different. So it's a fairly different game with just some similar levels, at least in theme, but even those levels are, some of them at least, are different. So yeah, it's worth playing both versions. I kind of like the Game Boy version, but that's, you know, the first one that I played, and it's the first one that I beat. I haven't beaten this one, so I don't know, I can't say. I like both. Obviously on the NES version, all the stuff you would expect. Going from a Game Boy game to an NES game, higher resolution, bigger playfield, it's not as cropped, fitting more on the screen basically at a time, and, you know, well, it's color, obviously. So, yeah, both great games, definitely worth checking out, either if you've played the NES version. Of course, I say NES version, but I really mean Famicom version. If you've played the Famicom version and you've never played the Game Boy version, it's definitely worth checking out, and vice versa. If you played the Game Boy version and never played the Famicom version, it's also definitely worth checking out, because again, there's some different levels in there, and the order of the power-ups and stuff is different, so it's different enough that you might have fun with it if you've beaten or played one of the other two versions, so one of the other versions. So yeah, definitely worth checking out. Again, it was on the Castlevania Anniversary Collection. I believe that would have been the first time the Famicom version was brought to multiple English regions and localized, translated. So that would be on PlayStation, Xbox, Switch, and Windows. So again, in 2019, this was released as the Castlevania Anniversary Collection. So that's one way to play it, but obviously you can just play it on an NES emulator, as I am doing here. And yeah, I guess that is it. See you guys later.